Good morning to one and all. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Thank you. So, in the previous lecture, we have started your second unit, that is interprocess communication. So, in the previous lecture, we have seen about what type of or what topics we are going to cover in your second unit, that is interprocess communication and the sockets, how to use socket, what is the use of socket. We have seen this PPT in the previous lecture, where a socket is one end point of a two-way communication link between two programs running on the network. Means whenever we are considering the distributed system, that particular system is having different components means the systems, and these systems are located on the different locations. Then how they are going to communicate with each other? So for that purpose, socket is designed where two different systems which are located on the different means two different processes which are located on two different machines. Suppose client process and the server process, both processes are located on different machine, and client has to communicate with server to solve the specific task. In that case, client has to create a socket and bind that socket or connect, make a connection between client and server with the help of available port and the IP address. Means whenever, every time, the connection will establish from client to server only. Okay, because no server will directly communicate with client, because client has to perform the specific task, so that the client will establish connection with the available server with available port number, and after that client send the request, server accept that request from the client with the help of the same port number which is available at the server, and then the server solve or process that particular request and send the reply to the client. So for that purpose, or for the communication of client and server, socket is going to use, and socket is designed for that purpose only. In the previous lecture, we have seen two different types of protocols are used for the communication, that is TCP and UDP. So UDP is a user datagram protocol. That particular protocol is used for connection-less communication. Okay, means if the client and server are not connected, the physical connection is not present, in that case UDP protocol is going to use. And if the connection is there, the wired connection is there in between client and server, in that case the TCP protocol is used. So in the first one, that is UDP protocol, again you have to use two different programs, first one for a client and second one for the server. Okay, so in that, first of all, you should know, in the case of user datagram protocol, that is UDP protocol, the message is in the form of datagram. Okay, means for communication from client to server, the client has to store the message which is communicated to the server in the form of datagram, and the datagram packet is having four different fields, which I have already discussed in the previous lecture. These four different fields are having in the datagram when the client has to communicate with the server. So the first one field is the message itself, means the client want to communicate the message to the server, then that particular message will be stored in the first one field, which is array. Okay, and then the second one field is the length of that message, means whatever the message is having, suppose 100 or 1000 is the message, then that particular length is stored in the second one field. Then in the third one field, internet address is required for connection purpose, means client want to communicate with the server, but client should know the address of that particular server for the connection purpose. Okay, so for that purpose, if client knows the address, then the client will store the address of the server in the third one field, and the last one field is the port number, available port number. Okay, means suppose this diagram is having 5 different ports of client side and at the server side also, but remaining these 4 ports are already means occupied for another communication. So for that client only, it will use this one port because right now this port is available. So it uses this port, and for the communication or for the connection establishment, client selects that particular port, but that port should available at the server side also. And if the port is available, then only the connection will establish between client and server, and then only the message will be transferred from one end to the other end. Okay, so this is the diagram, shows connection between client process and the server process with the help of socket. Then we have seen the program written in the Java programming language, that is the client, UDP client. I have already discussed this type of statements in the previous lecture, but I will just give you the short or brief introduction to that particular program. Whenever we are considering the Java program, we need to introduce the header file. But why I have introduced this type of header file in the program? Because whenever I'm using different classes, okay, means in the Java program, different classes are already defined in the header file, and I'm using the networking type classes in my program. So for that purpose, .NET.star, this header file I'm using and I'm importing in my program, that is import java.net.star, because inet address here I'm going to use in my program, and that particular class is already defined in this header file. Okay, and the second one header file I'm using, that is io.net io.star, because input output classes are already available and defined in this header file. Okay, so for that purpose only I'm using these two header files. After that, as I told, for communication between client to server, here you have to design two different programs. First one program is for client and second one program is for server. So right now I'm giving you the means I'm explaining you only the client program. Here, first of all, you have to create the object, sorry, you have to create the class of UDP client. Okay, you can give any name to your class, but whenever you are writing the program for a client, then you should save that file with the help of same class name. Okay, means class name, Java class and the Java program should have same name. Here UDP client is the name of this class. Then while I'm saving this file, my file name should be with the same name, that is UDP client. And Java program, Java language is the case sensitive language, means whenever you are using the class name with upper means UDP capital letters, then you should save that file with the help of a same uppercase letter also. Okay, means here UDP client is the file name and UDP client is my class. So after that, here public static void main, as we are writing in the C or CPP programming, main method is very much important, and execution will started with only main function. So this is the syntax for main in the Java programming, that is public static void main. And after that, we'll start the program of the UDP client. Okay, so whenever we are considering the UDP client, we need to create the variable of class datagram socket, because here we are going to consider or use the socket for the connection from client to server. Okay, and here datagram socket is the package or the class which is already defined in this header file, so that we can simply use datagram socket where D and S should be capital. Okay, so datagram socket, variable name of that particular socket, you can consider any name here, is equal to null. And then the try and catch block we can consider in case of Java programming, because different exceptions can be handled by Java. So here try block is there, and within that try block we are going to implement our program. So here the variable name socket, a socket, is the variable of datagram socket. Okay, so a socket is equal to new datagram socket. Whenever we are creating the variable of any class define in the header file, in that case, we need to use this new keyword. So whenever we want to create new object for that class only, we need to use this new keyword. So this is the variable name a socket is equal to new datagram socket, means this is the variable of the datagram socket. And after that, for creation of array in this Java program, the byte class I'm going to use here. The byte variable name m, byte m is equal to args of 0 dot get bytes, because this string args I'm passing to main function. So args of 0 means the 0th location, the variable m is going to store. And variable m is what? M is the message the client want to communicate with the server. So m is storing at the 0th location message. After that, inet address is the class I'm going to use. That particular class is already defined in this header file, that is .net.star. Okay, so inet, again I'm going to create variable of inet address. So inet space variable of inet address is a host is equal to inet address dot get by name, and args of 1 means what? Here I'm passing this variable args. That args is having different locations. So at the 0th location, message m is going to store, and at next location, the address field is stored. As I told in this previous slide, the particular message is having 4 different fields. The first one field carries the message, second one field carries the length of that message, and the next one field carries the internet address to which we want to communicate, means the internet address of the server. So here, this one gives the internet address of the server, which finds the internet address and store it into the A host. And after that, the server port number, means the available port number is stored in the server port, that is 6789. And remember, the reserved port numbers are from 0 to 1023. Means we cannot consider that numbers for the port numbers, because these port numbers are reserved. So whenever we are considering the client server model, every time you need to consider the port number above 1024 only. Understood? Means available port number, we need to store it into the variable server port. After that, again, I'm going to consider the class, that is datagram packet, because I'm taking these variables and I need to store these variables in the datagram packet, because I'm considering the protocol that is UDP protocol, that is user datagram protocol. So client has to store the data in the datagram packet only. For that purpose, I need to create one variable with the help of this syntax. So datagram packet, this method is already available in the header file. So datagram packet space variable name, that is the request, is equal to new keyword I'm going to use here to create the new variable of datagram packet. Right now, just consider the parameters. What parameters I'm going to pass here as per these fields of the packets. Okay, the first one is message, then length, then IP address, and then port number. So here, the parameters I'm passing, that is m, which is accepted from the user. Then length of that particular message is find out using this dot length method, and then a host, which is used to store the IP address of the server, and then server port, which is having the value 6789. After this, means here right now I have created the packet. Okay, means the client is ready with the packet. After that, client will send that packet to the server. Okay, so here a socket is the variable. I have already created that object, a socket dot send of the request. With the help of this statement, client sends the datagram packet to the server. Okay, and after that, once client send the request, client should accept the reply from the server. So for that purpose, one more array I'm going to use here. So for that purpose, here I'm using this byte keyword, byte buffer. Here buffer is the variable of byte to store the reply coming from the server. So here I have created this buffer. After that, I need to create packet, that is datagram packet, which is coming from the server. So again use the class that is datagram packet space variable name reply. You can give any variable name here is equal to new datagram packet, and just remember two different functions I'm going to use here. First, datagram packet request, that is the request from client to server is having different fields, and the datagram packet coming from server to the client is having two different fields. Okay, so whenever client sends the request, it should know the IP address of the server and the port number of the server. But while coming from the server, no need to find out the no need to specify the server IP address or the port number. Simply use this parameter buffer and the length of the buffer. Okay, because this buffer is having the data which is coming from the server. And after that, we need to receive from server. So simply use this receive method, a socket dot receive, and inside that we are passing the parameter that is reply, which is having buffer means the message from server. Okay, and after that, this system.println, I want to display the message coming from the server. So that simply use this statement, that is system.out.println reply, and that particular reply dot get data. Means whenever we are considering the distributed system, that distributed system is not a local system. Okay, because two different systems, two different machines are communicating simultaneously. For that purpose, you need to create the input and output stream, and then communication is happen. Means you need to establish the communication between client process and the server process. Then only the client will communicate with server. Okay, and after that, here in case of Java programming, the exceptions can be occur here. So to avoid or to handle such exceptions, try and catch block is used. In the try block, you need to write your code, and in the catch different exceptions we can handle. Here, first of all, the socket exception can occur. Means that particular socket will not make the connection between client and server. In that case, such a type of exception can occur. So for that purpose, this socket exception is used. Then IO exception can also occur. So to avoid or to handle such exception, IO exception is used. That is the variable E is used for the IO exception. And after that, the finally is the statement to close the socket. Okay, whenever connection is required, client will make the connection with server, and after that means if no data is there for the communication, then socket will close with the help of this statement, that is a socket dot close. Okay, so this is the program for client, and after that you need to write the program for server. Then how will you write the program for server? Again, you need to specify this header file, that is import java.net.star and io.star. After that, your program name should be UDP server, and then void main function is there. Again, you need to create this socket, that is datagram socket space a socket is equal to null, and again try and catch a block you need to consider here. And after that, again same variable of the socket I'm using, that is a socket is equal to new datagram socket. But whenever I'm considering the client UDP client and UDP server, two different parameters or formats are there. The first is the client UDP. In the client UDP, here in the client UDP, no parameters I'm passing here, but in the server UDP, I need to pass the port number. Okay, so whenever I'm using this port number, because I'm using this port number store here, and this packet, this datagram packet is passing the port number, not single port number. This datagram packet is passing. This datagram packet of client passing 4 different fields, that is message, length, IP address, and the port number. But in case of server, I'm passing only the port number, because server no need to know about the IP address of client. Okay, because the client is sending the request, and server has to just accept that request and send the reply. So here in case of server, only port number is passing, that is the 6789. Just remember the port number which is used in the client should be same as the port number in the server. Okay, so 6789 is the port number and I have used in the client program, so that I'm using the same port number in the server program also. And after that, here in the server program, the communication is not initialized by server. Okay, communication is established or initialized by client always. So in the server will just accept the request from client, and to accept that request, it requires some variable. So that for that purpose, here buffer variable is created, which is having class byte, and then that particular buffer is stored here. Datagram packet request and reply. Here the request from client. Okay, so request is equal to new datagram packet, and which is having the variable buffer, because buffer is coming from client. So buffer space buffer length. And after that, the socket variable a socket dot receive of request, means the request is the object or the variable of datagram packet which is passed here. Okay, so a socket dot receive request means that particular variable is having the datagram packet which is sent from client program. Okay, and after that, if server has to send the reply, in that case it has to again create one more variable, that is datagram packet variable, which is having variable name reply. Okay, but in that case, that particular reply should have the parameters request dot get data, request dot get length, request dot get address, and request dot get port. Because whenever client sends the packet, that particular packet is having 4 different fields. First one field is the message which conveys to the server, which want to convey to the server. Then second one is the length of that particular message. Then third one is the address of the server, and next one is the port number. So here the datagram packet coming from the client is having these fields, that is request means what? This request is coming from the client. Okay, and then request dot get data means that particular request is also having these 4 fields. So this type of parameters this datagram packet should have in the server side or server program also. And after that, a socket dot send reply. Again, this reply I have created. So simply use this reply variable and pass that variable to the send method. And again, cache we can consider here a cache block, and here in the cache block exceptions can be handled. Okay, so and after that, the last one statement is a socket dot close to close the socket. Means whenever you suppose you have to write one program, that is client program, on one machine and server program on another machine. Okay, and you need to know the IP address of server only, and that particular IP address should be given into the client program. And then communication means whenever you are executing such a program, I will execute this program after this, but whenever you want to execute this program, you need to write 2 different programs, 2 different classes, Java classes. First one is the client, that is UDP client.java, then UDP server.java. Okay, 2 different programs are there. And then for the execution, again, you need to use 2 different terminals every time. Whenever you see your syllabus of this practical, that is SL9 practical. In that practical, it is mentioned that you have to use the open source operating system. So we are going to use Ubuntu OS only. So on that Ubuntu OS, you have to create 2 different files, text files. First one file is having UDP server.java, and second one file is having UDP client.java. And after that, you need to open 2 different terminals. First one terminal will execute Java program only, and second one terminal will execute client program only. Okay, and after that, whenever client sends the message, that is a hello message, that one message will be displayed on server terminal, and if server sends the reply to the client, that particular reply will be displayed on the client terminal. Okay, in this way you need to execute that particular program if single system is there. Okay, means local server you need to use, and if you want to execute the same program with two different systems, in that case the IP address you need to use in your client program. Okay, and after that, this is the UDP protocol, means the connectionless uh, communication from client to server. Now we'll see the TCP connection, and we are going to design this program in your laboratory, that is client server communication or the chat application using TCP protocol. Okay, you need to design the chat application client server model using TCP protocol. So we will see about this. This is the TCP client program. Whenever we are considering the for the client and server communication, again we need to use the socket programming. Okay, so 4 different tasks the client has to perform for client programming. Here, first of all, the connection should be established from client to server, and for that purpose, if you are using same system to execute two different processes. Okay, means a single system is having two processes. First one process is client process, and second one process is server process. In that case, you need to consider the local host keyword, because single server, both processes are running on single server, so you need to use local host is the keyword for a single system. Or we can simply use the IP address for the local host, that is 127.0.0.1. Okay, means when two different processes we are executing on single system, in that case you need to use this IP address, that is 127.0.0.1. and if you are not using the single system, you are using two different systems for this TCP client and server, means TCP client is located at one system and TCP server is located at the another system, and client want to communicate with the TCP server which is available at another system. In that case, you need to just replace this one, that is 127.0.0.1 in case of single system. But if you want to communicate with another system, then you need to put the IP address of that system here. Okay, and here 3333 is the port number, available port number. And as I told this lecture, that is you can consider or you can take the port number from 1024 only, because from 0 to 1023 all the port numbers are reserved, and that port numbers are having the specific a task. Okay, so we cannot consider that port numbers from 0 to 1023. So for that purpose, for the communication from client to server, we can consider the port number from only 1024 and above. So I have taken this port number 3333 because it is a available port number right now. Okay, and after that, it provides the IP address and the TCP port, and then the client will communicate with the server. And once the communication or the connection is established, client will communicate, and after communication is happened, then client close that connection. Okay, this is the these are the 4 different tasks client has to perform, and again here 4 different tasks server has to perform. That once the request is sent from the client side, server has to accept that request. Okay, connection will once the server accept the request, the connection is established between client and server, and after that client server waits for the client request. Means once the connection is established, client will send the message, server wait for that particular message. Once the client send the message, server receives that message, communicate with client as per that particular request, and then after communication over, the connection will close. The socket connection will close. These are the tasks performed by the server. Okay, are you getting this concept, all of you? Yes, or any problem is there? because you need to perform this practical on the practicals in the practical session. Okay. Hello. No reply from your side. Okay, obvious. For these practicals, you need to know about the Java programming. Okay. Basic Java concept, you need to know about this. Then only you can design the program or implement the program. Okay. So here TCP client and TCP server. So right now, I will explain you the TCP client program, and then I will take the next, that is TCP server program. So here, this is the TCP client program. Again, I have used same header files, that is net.star and io.star. After that, main function is there. And here, in case of client socket, two different formats are there or syntax are there to create the socket in case of TCP client and TCP server. In case of TCP client, simply use socket keyword. Socket space variable name is equal to new keyword space socket is inside that opening and closing bracket. You need to consider IP address of server and port number of server. So here I'm going to use the single system to execute. For that purpose, I'm using here localhost. Instead of localhost, I can consider the IP address that is 127.0.0.1, which is the IP address of local server. Okay, so localhost comma IP address. Then here one socket is created, but once the socket is created, you need to create the connection between client and server. Okay, so one stream is used to send the data from client to server, and another stream is used to receive the data from server to client. Okay, so how to create the stream? Just by using this class, that is data input stream and data output stream. So first one is the data input stream. To create the stream, to get the input from server. Okay, so data input stream variable name din is equal to, again, new data input stream. The variable is s dot get input stream. Okay, and the data output stream d out is equal to new data output stream s dot get output stream. S dot get output stream, S dot get input stream. These are the packages, okay, of the Java. So here I have created two different variables, din and dout. Din stream will access the data from server, continuous data. Continuous means continuous data stream from server, and data output stream, that is dout, will send the continuous data from client to the server. Okay, and after that means these are the stream from for network. Okay, communication from one end to other end in the network. But consider the local system here. Means what? Every time for a client to send the message from client to server, client has to take input from user. First of all, client process has to take input from user. For that purpose, this buffer reader package is used. This buffer reader class space variable name is equal to new buffer reader, new input stream reader. Okay, here means once you take input from user, then you can just send that data to the input stream. Okay, and after that, this is the, suppose again two different strings are used, that is str, str2. While this str dot equal to stop means till you get the stop message, this particular client continuously sends the data till stop message. Okay, once client send the stop message, that connection will be stopped. Here str is equal to means str variable string is equal to br dot read line. Then dout is the data out. Dout dot write UTF. UTF is the protocol for the communication to write the data to the system which is connected to the network. Okay, means UTF is the protocol which is used to encode the data, and write to the remote located system. Again, here write and read. Here write means what? It writes the data encoded message to the remote system, and here read UTF means it reads the message which is encoded using this UTF protocol coming from the remote machine. Okay, and store it into str2. And then server says means this message will be displayed with the help of this statement and str2, because this is the str2 will store the message coming from the server, and str is a message which is going from client to the server. Okay, so this is the program for client. And now we'll see the we'll see the next program for the server in the next lecture. So are you getting these concept except Ovis? Remaining student, are you getting the concept which I have explained in the lecture?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, if you are getting any query, then you can ask in the lecture, or you can communicate or contact me personally. So thank you for listening. Now you can mark the attendance.